Hi, my name is Hannah Strong and I'm here at Curzon, Soho with the director and one of the stars of Paris 13th District. We have Jacques Audiard and we have Jehnny Beth, and we're going to do a little Q&A for you now. I think a good place to start would be with Adrien Tamine and his amazing comics. So, Jacques, could you talk a little about when you discovered his work and when you started to think it might
Le
be
travail
good?
de Tomine,
Comment tu as découvert son travail?
c'est une amie qui me l'a conseillé. Je cherchais un sujet et voilà. Alors, c'est un peu étrange parce que je suis pas un grand connaisseur du tout de la bande dessinée. Je n'ai pas vraiment de culture, mais j'étais surpris. J'ai beaucoup aimé les personnages, l'humeur de ces histoires.
It's a friend of his who introduced him to the short stories. He's not a great amateur of, comics, but he likes Adrien Tomine's and the mood of his stories and the characters.
Brilliant.
Elle m'a dit, tu verras, c'est un peu mélancolique et chiant comme toi. Ça devrait te plaire.
His friend said, you'll see, the stories are melancholic and boring, a bit like the way you like it.
Was that a compliment?
Est-ce que c'est un compliment?
Je me questionne encore.
He's still wondering about that.
And when you first read the script, what was your reaction? Were you immediately kind of fell in love with it?
Yeah, I didn't read the script straight away. First I read the scenes of my character, Amber Sweet, and with Nora, played by Noémie Merlan. And then we went to work with Jacques on the table, and then that's when I understood all the other characters' implications. But yes, I really liked it straight away. I thought that playing a cam girl was really interesting. It's a universe I kind of know from friends, from people. It's something that didn't feel like too far away in a way from what I know of life, and also the relationship with Nora I thought was very unique. Almost like you could do a whole movie just on those two, and their love story.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the
Non, j'ai tout compris.
Très bien.
one of the things I love is that the sort of different chapters we see, we kind of are left wanting more, which is a nice way to be. You know these characters exist in a world beyond the film.
Quand on finit de regarder le film, on se demande, on aimerait savoir plus sur ces personnages et l'évolution. On reste sur sa fin et on se demande toujours qu'est-ce qu'il a devenu et qu'est-ce qu'il est devenu de ces personnages.
C'est un conseil pour faire une
It's a sequel.
Mais c'est blague, je me suis posé la question. Je crois que j'aurais assez envie de faire une suite.
He actually asked himself the same question and would be tempted to do a sequel.
Oh, that's a good exclusive. Maybe in the future we'll get a Amber Sweet spin-off. It does feel like there's a very rich. I like the kind of mystery with Amber that we only see a kind of that part of her life. It's evident that there's a lot more kind of going on.
Yeah. Je traduis. Adia, c'est une exclue peut-être qu'il va y avoir un spin-off de Amber Sweet.
Peut-être.
Et elle dit que c'est un personnage dont on ne sait pas grand-chose. Et donc on se demande, tout pourrait être vrai sur elle.
C'est marrant parce que ce truc c'est quoi, c'est un sequel?
Oui, c'est une suite.
C'est que j'ai pensé faire la suite, les mêmes personnages mais pendant le confinement.
Ah,
voilà.
He thought to do a sequel of the same characters but during confinement.
Really? Because this was made during
Set
COVID.
Yeah.
So is it set in your mind just before COVID happened?
C'est en le faisant. Nous on l'a fait pendant le confinement, mais le film était hors confinement.
Elle demande si c'était avant. Le film il est avant le confinement.
Oui, pour moi c'est avant le confinement.
It's before for him. Yeah.
Did that experience of shooting during COVID, how was that for both of you? What kind of challenges did you find?
C'est marrant ça d'ailleurs, parce que j'avais... sorry.
Oh, he's continuing on that idea.
Go ahead.
Penser à ça. C'est que j'avais même pensé à une fin de celui-là où
oui, je me souviens.
Où Émilie, c'est ça,
oui.
était en voix off et disait, après il y a eu le confinement. Après, on s'est enfermé et on faisait l'amour toute la journée. Ça a été formidable.
One of the possible ending that he thought about for the movie during the period of making it is to have Emily, the character of Emily, say at the end of the movie on a voiceover, saying, "Oh, and then the confinement happened, and we made love all day."
Which wouldn't be much of a change for her, really.
Ah oui, ce serait pas un gros changement pour Emily.
Non, peut-être pas.
Maybe not.
We should definitely talk about Lucy, because she gives such an incredible performance, and this is her first film role, which is crazy to me, to give such a powerhouse performance so young and really bursting onto the screen. I was blown away when I saw her at Cannes. Could you talk a little about how you met her and how she came to the project?
Comment d'abord, c'est difficile de trouver une très jeune femme franco-chinoise qui serait susceptible ou aurait été susceptible de jouer les scènes de sexe du film.
It's quite difficult. It would have been difficult to find another Franco-Chinese actress who would agree to do those scenes. You know.
Et donc déjà, le choix se limitait beaucoup.
There was a limited choice then.
Et en fait, c'est grâce à la casting director Christelle Barras que j'ai fait la connaissance de Lucy Zhang, mais je n'avais pas beaucoup de choix.
Christelle Barras was the casting director who worked closely, introduced all the actors to Jacques for the movie, so that's how he met Lucy Zhang. But he didn't have a wide choice, you know what I mean?
Et donc il a fallu travailler beaucoup avec Lucy parce qu'elle était parce qu'elle n'avait jamais joué.
So it meant that we had to do a lot of work with Lucy because it was our first movie. So
donc on a beaucoup répété.
We rehearsed a lot.
And am I correct that she is actually from the 13th district in Paris?
Oui, elle est plus maintenant. Maintenant, elle habite le 16e, mais elle a habité, je crois, un bon moment le 13e.
Yes, you're right. Yeah. She's now moved, but she used to live there. Yeah.
So was she able to kind of help with the sense of authenticity within that district as well, coming from that place?
Oui, mais Oui, bien sûr, mais comment elle n'a jamais eu vraiment ce rôle-là, parce qu'on avait des gens qui savent.
Moi, je pense qu'elle est très, pour la connaître, elle est très différente d'Emily, Lucie.
Ah oui, mais absolument différente. C'était la question que me posait la dame?
Non, elle demandait si le fait qu'elle connaissait le 13e district, ça a amené une certaine authenticité au personnage.
Oui, peut-être, je me suis...
Possibly.
Mais ce que disait Jehnny est juste, c'est comment Lucie n'a rien à voir avec Emily.
Oh yeah, Lucy has nothing in common with Emily, and it's true. I mean, I know her and I met her, and it's quite a stretch. Like, very, very different people. Yeah.
Which makes it even more impressive.
I know, I agree, yeah.
And same for you as well. I'm sure you're very, very different to Amber.
Moins.
Less. No, but you're right. And actually that's one of the first things that Jacques, I remember Jacques telling me or telling us, all of us, is that the character is not us, and we have to make that journey towards him or her, and that journey is through work. It was a great lesson. I think making this movie, I've learned a lot about acting in movies things I've learned I'm going to use for years, I think, from now on. Really, it was a real lesson.
Because it's so character driven as well. The whole thing revolves around the little 4 performances that we see. It is so much, there's barely any other characters in it. It's really down to you guys.
Yes. T'as compris ça?
Non.
Y a que 4 personnages, donc la responsabilité était lourde, était retombée sur nous.
Bien sûr, oui. Bien sûr. Comme à chaque fois.
It's the same for each movie.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, you do have very small casts who give very intense performances.
C'est pour ça que quand on a un acteur débutant ou une actrice débutante, quelqu'un qui n'a jamais joué, il y a une incertitude qui dure longtemps.
Ah.
Moi c'est ça ce qu'il me faut. On parlait de peur, tout ça. Ouais. Moi j'ai eu peur avec Lucie.
Ouais, d'accord. He's saying that that's the reason why when you have a young actor who's for who this film is the first experience, there's an uncertainty about what they can do that lasts longer than with an experienced actor. That makes sense. And how do you deal with that?
C'est à force de travail. C'était à force de travail.
Mais tu sais que le travail va t'amener
je sais que seul le travail pourra m'asséner la preuve, mais avec Lucie, ça a duré un petit moment.
D'accord. He knows that only work can get you there.
Yeah.
But it just takes longer.
Yeah, and Lucy must be a hard worker then.
Yes, oui, et ça, elle est très travailleuse et très courageuse.
Very brave and hard working.
Et très intelligente.
Very clever.
Yes, yeah. I mean, that.
Comment ça, vous la connaissez pas?
You don't know her.
well, no, this is true. But watching the film, it's such a complex role because Emily is often very unlikable.
Mais je pense que
Emily n'est pas forcément un personnage qu'on aime, donc elle est assez
complexe.
Non,
tout à fait. Mais je pense qu'il y a je pense que Lucie, et c'est pas du tout un reproche, une critique. Je pense qu'elle a joué un certain nombre de choses qu'elle n'a pas comprises.
Ouais.
Parce qu'elle est chinoise.
Et c'est pour ça qu'elle est courageuse.
Ben oui, c'est ça, oui, exactement. C'est pour ça qu'elle est courageuse et intelligente. Parce que là, elle s'en remet à toi.
Okay. He says she's brave and intelligent because, and this is in no regard a critique, but she played some things that she didn't fully understood. And that is what he calls brave, being brave and clever, is because she trusts you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
she trusts the director.
That's very, very important for a successful collaboration.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's true for life. C'est vrai pour la vie, je trouve.
Oui, peut-être.
We should definitely talk about the sex scenes within the film as well.
We should definitely talk about the scenes. What should they do?
Because so much has been made of it, just because I think people are so relieved, I guess, in a way, that the sex scenes are handled with such care and it's so kind of beautifully choreographed. And I believe that the actors, you'll be able to speak more to this, the actors were quite involved in kind of staging those and making sure that it was all, you were all comfortable with that. So can you talk a little about that?
Vaguement, ça
elle parle des scènes de sexe. Elle dit que apparemment les acteurs étaient très impliqués, elle dit d'abord qu'il y a une qualité de ces scènes-là qui sont très belles, bien filmées et respectueuses. Enfin, il y a quelque chose de et elle dit qu'apparemment les acteurs étaient très impliqués dans la fabrication de ça. Les scènes sont très chorégraphiées. Elle demande comment ça s'est.
Bah je préfère avoir ton témoignage que le mien.
So he wants me to answer.
That's fine.
I didn't have my character didn't have sex scenes per se, but.
Et tu travaillais beaucoup avec Noémie.
But I worked with Noémie. Yeah, of course. But what I mean is, but we had 3 months of preparation for the movie, and before we started shooting. And during those 3 months, we had a choreographer available, Stéphanie Chen. We had a space where there was costumes, makeup, and the choreographer, and we would have like a planning, where we would all go and work in duos, so Makita, Lucy, me, Noémie, and so it means that even though I didn't have scenes with the other actors, we would constantly meet and share time together. But the first thing that Jacques said to us, and for my character it was a bit different, but is you have to make propositions. And so we would work with the choreographer about, for example, for Amber Sweet, it was she does her own little mise en scène, she it's a character. She's created herself. And so the question was, what does she do with, all those accessories she has? Does she holds them? If she holds them, how? What position does she present herself on camera? And so we would work with the choreographer on that, and then Jacques would come, and we would say, okay, we have this option, that option. We'd film a bit, we'd look at it, and then he would be like choosing, oh, I like that, oh no, don't do that, or and don't do that, but that was really creative, and for me that was the first time a director would give so much room for exploration and to propose, ideas, and it felt that we were, very involved, and it was fun. It was real fun.
Yeah, which is great to hear, because I think with film, there's been so much kind of conversation around sex in film and making sure that actors feel comfortable on screen. So it's lovely to hear that it's a good collaborative process, and you were kind of mini directors being able to
he's the director, but
mini directors, assistants.
Many directors, what?
Non, elle dit que elle trouve ça bien d'entendre cette histoire de comment, parce que souvent il y a tellement d'histoires avec le sexe au cinéma que ça s'est pas bien passé, que les acteurs se sentaient pas forcément aussi confortables, et que elle trouve ça assez intéressant.
Comme je ne sais pas comment ça se passe chez les autres, je peux pas.
Oui.
Je peux pas témoigner.
He says he doesn't know how it happens with other directors, and he can't explain that. Mais elle disait qu'on était un peu des mini directors de
bien sûr, absolument.
de nous-mêmes.
Absolument.
I also want to ask about Céline Sciamma and Léa Mizus, because they obviously were your co-writers. How did the process work between the three of you when it came to adapting the comics for the script?
D'abord, ça s'est passé en 2 temps. J'ai d'abord travaillé avec Céline, qui a dû faire 2 versions de la première adaptation. Et on avait tous après des projets, donc on s'est séparés. Et en fait, Céline avait une très grande connaissance de l'œuvre d'Adrian Tominé. Elle le connaissait vraiment très bien. Et moi, je suis parti en tournage sur autre chose. Et quand je suis revenu, j'ai repris le projet. Mais Céline était partie sur le tournage de son film. Donc j'ai fait appel à Léa Mizus, à une autre jeune femme. Voilà. Tu peux traduire ça déjà.
Oui. It happens in 2 moments. First, Céline Sciamma wrote the 2 first of 2 versions of first adaptations directly from the comics, and she knew Adrian Tominé really well. Not him, but I mean his work. And but then he went to work on shooting a project, and when he came back, she had started shooting her movie, so she was not available anymore. So he asked Léa to come in at that point.
Et c'est pas vraiment, c'est sans le savoir vraiment. La particularité de cette collaboration, c'est que c'était 2 réalisatrices. Céline est réalisatrice et Léa est réalisatrice. Et c'est la première fois que je travaillais avec des scénaristes réalisateurs.
Et ça a changé quoi?
Ça change un rapport beaucoup plus pragmatique à l'écriture, en fait. Je ne sais pas trop comment le dire, mais c'était...
une conscience de l'après.
Comment elles savaient l'une et l'autre vraiment assez bien ce que ça pourrait donner. Tu vois, il n'y avait pas on pataugeait pas beaucoup.
Ouais. He wasn't aware of that when he started work. He wasn't aware of that when he started working with them. But the key thing about those Céline and Léa is that they're both directors as well as screenplay writers. And I asked him, what does that bring? What does that change? And he said, it brings something that is more realistic about what can be done afterwards. And
it's true, they understand.
Yeah, there's no stalling, there's no...
On se racontait moins d'histoires.
Oh, yeah. It's not, you're not lying to yourself about what's possible, what's not,
Yeah, pragmatic.
Yeah, pragmatic. Yeah, there's a pragmatability. I don't know how to say. Yeah.
My final question is a little bit more abstract, maybe, because Emily's character is so young in the film. I'd love to know what advice both of you would give to yourselves at her age, if you could go back in time.
Emily's?
At her age, so 21, 19?
Yeah. Elle demande si on avait un conseil à donner à Emily ou à quelqu'un de son âge à elle. About what? About love? Or
about love, about life, about growing up.
À propos de grandir, de devenir adulte. Qu'est-ce que tu lui dirais?
À Émilie? De faire exactement ce qu'elle a fait, c'est-à-dire de se tromper.
I would tell her to do exactly what she's doing in the movie, which is to make mistakes. Yeah.
Voilà, c'est ça, il faut pas avoir peur de se tromper. Faut avoir le courage de se tromper.
To be brave enough to be wrong.
Yeah, I think we could all learn that. I'm
Yeah, there's
older
no
than her and I could definitely learn that.
there's no
Si j'avais su que je donnerais des conseils aux jeunes le matin,
It's as if I knew when I woke up this morning I was going to give advice to young people so early. But yeah, there's no living without being wrong.
Yeah, that's a really lovely message. Yeah.
oui, puis je trouve que le plaisir que j'ai eu à faire ce film, c'était un peu un plaisir d'époque, une époque que je sens se contracter, devenir pudibonde, ou je ne sais pas si c'est le bon mot, mais...
Alors là, pour le traduire.
Non, mais tu vois, comment...
Oui.
un peu hypocrite.
He wanted to maybe the movie is a response as well to an era that he feels is a bit more contracted. I don't know how to explain, but
Avec plein de morale.
moralist maybe, or c'est quoi l'autre mot que t'as dit avant moraliste?
Je sais
T'as
plus.
dit pudibonde et t'as
Oui,
dit...
pudibonde, moraliste, un peu, voilà, et assez hypocrite en fait.
Oh,
I see.
Et
Yeah.
donc, et j'aime bien cette idée que des jeunes gens, finalement, cassent ça, quitte à souffrir. Ils souffrent, ils ont des chagrins d'amour, des trucs comme ça, mais au moins ils vivent des amours.
He likes the idea of young people breaking that rigidity, and even if it means that they have to suffer, at least they're leaving something, and they feel love.
Yeah, you have to make mistakes
Yeah.
to feel love.
You have to dare.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, both. for
Thank
taking
you.
the time.
Thank you so much.
Je peux te poser une question? C'est quoi ta vie sentimentale?
Moi, j'ai pas envie d'être ensemble avec qui que ce soit. Pourquoi vous êtes parti alors?
Pour m'installer à Paris.
Je compense ma frustration professionnelle par une activité sexuelle intense.
Cool.
Tu peux mettre ta webcam, on n'est plus que toutes les deux.
C'est quoi la chose la plus étrange, la plus humiliante que t'aies vécue?
T'es immature et égocentrique, Émilie.
Je crois que je suis fatigué. Je me sens juste encore plus merdique.
Et là
Putain, mais elle est complètement malade!
T'en veux une, toi aussi?
Non.
Non? Bon alors.
Tu fais rien. C'est moi qui fais.
Elle me rend taré. Elle me rend complètement taré, je pense plus qu'à ça.
Qu'est-ce qui va se passer? Je suis super excitée, j'ai envie de crier.